Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, take the roll.
O'Connor.
Here.
Morissette.
Here.
Alms.
Here.
DeZiel.
Here.
Weber.
Here.
Atkins Hoggett. Hall.
All right, we'll start out with public hearing. We have a public hearing on Resolution 21-19 to partially discontinue a portion of public right-of-way for Kinnickinnick Street, generally located along 205 3rd Street, Rick and Cheryl Cherry. Is there anyone here who would like to make a comment? Anyone who would like to make a comment? Anyone who would like to make a comment?
Move to close.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Hearing's closed. Discussion and possible action on Resolution 21-19 to partially discontinue a portion of public right-of-way for Kinnickinnick Street, generally located along 205 3rd Street, Rick and Cheryl Cherry.
Good evening.
Evening.
Obviously, the council's seen this before. It's effectively a remnant piece of right-of-way of what we can Kinnickinnick Street that is no longer, has no future plans for a road or utility extension on it. The resolution requests that this is in the best interest of the public and to vacate the half adjoining the Cherry's residence, so that they can develop a new home on that. If the future owners of the property next door would like to acquire their half of it, that is something that they could do by going through a similar process or the same process.
I'll move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Motion and second to suspend the rules. Roll call.
Morissette.
Yes.
Alms.
Yes.
DeZiel.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Hall.
Motion's approved. Rules are suspended.
Move to adopt resolution 21-19.
Second.
A motion and second to adopt. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Come to the portion of the agenda for citizen comments. This is your opportunity to make a comment on anything you'd like about the city, except if it's already on the agenda, at which time or at which point on the agenda you could speak to the to that item. So anything other than what's on the agenda, keep your comments concise, short if possible. Does anybody have any comments? Any comments? Any comments? Hearing none, we'll close that portion of the agenda. Consent agenda.
Consent agenda items for tonight are as follows. Approve the meeting minutes from the November 18, 2019 regular council meeting. Approve the claims in the amount of $772,217.10. Approve the regular operator license applications as listed on the issue sheet. Approve the purchase of a vehicle for the police department. Approve the updated fire protection contract for the municipalities for the fire department services. Approve changing the public hearing date for an amendment to the municipal code chapter 255 zoning to include development information meetings to January 6, 2020.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve consent agenda. Roll call.
Morissette.
On D, it's approved 2 vehicles, isn't it? Yeah.
I believe so.
Vehicles, should be vehicles.
Do we need to do anything on that, other than just?
Fine.
Okay. Everybody got that for both vehicles that we talked about at finance? Okay, roll call.
Morissette.
Yes.
Alms.
Yes.
DeZiel.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Motion's approved. Consent agenda is approved. Possible reconsideration of operator license for Ingrid Swenson.
So at the last council meeting, the council did approve an operator's license for Ms. Swenson. After the meeting, Chief Willems did pull the police report from the incident, and with that, it puts staff in a tough situation where we have two very conflicting versions of what occurred. And so with that, we do have an official police report, and it does not match up with what the statements that were made by the applicant at the last council meeting. And at that time, that was when staff also had recommended denial. And with that, it is staff's opinion, at least, that because the stories are not matching up, it is our opinion that Ms. Wentz is not being truthful with her statements, as they do not match up at all with what is in the police report. So with that, we had brought it back to council's attention that if you would like, you can make a motion to reconsider this, and that's what we're recommending that you do. And then at that point, our recommendation would be to deny the operator's license.
So you would need two motions?
We would. Somebody who had voted in the affirmative last time, which I believe everyone, no, we did not. We had split vote.
4 to 2, yeah.
I'll make the motion to reconsider.
Second.
Motion second to reconsider, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion's approved, reconsidering.
I guess if you want.
She's here if you want to.
Right, was there, the applicant is here, I'm sure you'd like to make a statement. Was there any other statement that the chief wanted to make first, or?
Unless there's any questions on the report. Do you have any questions, but,
Did you talk to the deputy?
no,
You just got the report.
I just got the report, and obviously, what gave me pause about her statements were that if investigating a situation and you're given information that's potentially exculpatory, first of all, but also that someone might potentially be in the middle of nowhere with nowhere to go, we got to try and find that person, right, from a public safety perspective, because we don't know. We know there was a crash. We know someone called a tow truck. We get there and there's only one person there sitting in the driver's seat of the vehicle that admits to trying to turn around because she didn't know where she was. And then, in my opinion, in my experience, if someone tells me as a police officer that someone else was there, I have a duty to try and find that person. I'm not just going to discount it, right? Also, our job is to accurately reflect in our reports what happened. I don't see a reason how this deputy would have had a relationship with this person to try to lie about something or try to hide something or cover anything up, being that she was from California. So it didn't make sense to me, and that's why I pulled the report. I don't normally do that, but there was just something not passing the smell test with me, and that's why I pulled the report and found that. So in my opinion, I don't see how the police report is not accurate. That's me. I wasn't there, right? I don't know that St. Croix County had video at that time. They just recently got video. That's why I called Aaron and asked him to bring it back, because I felt you guys should know at least the whole story from our perspective as staff.
Okay.
You guys have questions, or just want me to tell you?
Yeah, why don't you explain, you've heard what the issues are with the problem. You're hearing that, so.
So, as I explained to Mr. Reeves when he called me, a lot of things were left out on there. And I don't know why either. He said that there was an accident. There was no accident. There was no damage to my car. He doesn't report on there that I actually showed him my rental agreement that I had rented the car with damage because were out of cars. I was going to have to wait hours. So I said, that's not a problem. I'll take that car. It was on the front bumper. He also didn't note that anything, probably, I feel, because he was teasing me. I mean, he was literally teasing me, looking under the car, saying, where is it, Ingrid? Where's the person? Like, and I understand that I drank that day. I understand that. I've said sorry to so many people. It's embarrassing to tell my children. I am an avid don't drink and drive. now I know I can't even be in a vehicle because of this whole instance, where even if I drink, like I won't go in a car because of all these things. So I don't know what else to say, except for I didn't realize I was rehashing the whole ticket. And if you're going to revoke it again or take it away, when can I apply is what my boss would like to know. Because the ticket was almost 2 years ago.
Do we have, is there any,
Well, the conviction was 2019.
right,
It's just
Right, and
recent in that respect. And I guess there is no definite, there's no deadline or time period, but it just seems recent enough that the chief recommended denial.
well, because the,
So you show you have a clean record for some period of time. Like I said, it's not stated in the statute. We've had a kind of a department policy of anywhere from, they look back, I believe, 5 years. I'm not saying that's carved in stone. I'm just saying depends on the type of conviction, the gravity of it, those types of things. So I can't give you a hard and fast answer, but some period of time in which there's no issues.
Seem to be a lot of extenuating circumstances that happened with this particular case, and that's what I struggle with. The facts of the adjudication didn't happen until 19, the citation was given in 2 years ago, so
Well, the incident occurred on a certain date. I can't speak for why it didn't get to trial or didn't get to no contest a year later. I think the applicant did explain she was hospitalized for some period of time, which may have been part of the delay. I don't know, and the city has no control over that.
it was, I was fighting the ticket because when I went to Broadway and Besker, he said, well, no, and since it doesn't say these things here, yeah, you should fight it then. And I said, because I don't know what else to do. And then they postponed it a couple times. And then it still was nothing set in stone to go to trial, but I couldn't fight it anymore because I had to have that surgery, and that put me out for 4.5 months.
Right. Chief, what's the blinking light for you? The inconsistencies in the deputy's report and her statement of last
There's
meeting?
a couple of blinking lights for me. The car is rented by her, technically by statute. She's the only one authorized to be driving it. She's in the driver's seat when the deputy gets there with the tow truck. And it's in the middle of nowhere, and she says the person just vanished. Well, where did they go? Who are they? Where did they go? Where do they live? I mean, there's a series of questions that would have taken place after that.
And that information wasn't given. He never asked you that, and you never
No,
replied?
he looked underneath the car and was kind of like, well, where are they? So,
But those are the blinking lights for me.
Okay, thank you. And, one other question of opinion as a chief safety officer for the city. Has she paid her debt to society over these 3 years? We can't control the court docket.
No, and it's pretty typical for a case to go several months, if not a couple of years. I just had a trial last month for something that happened 2.5 years ago. And that's not uncommon just because of the caseloads.
Right.
But, I don't know what the sentence was, or I can't speak to,
Thank you.
And again, I think staff's point is not, it's not that maybe she hasn't completed all of her requirements through the courts or almost or anything like that. Honestly, this only reason this came back, was because of this extreme discrepancies between what was provided to the council at the last meeting and what's in the police report. That's all. We're not saying that because of the nature of this, she shouldn't have been granted at last meeting. We didn't bring that up at all. Only reason this came back is because they were so different. And we felt it was just our duty to bring it back to the council to say, we have concerns with this much discrepancy because we have an official police report, we have the applicant statements to the council, they're not close.
And you have one assessment left?
I have to go to, it's a panel. It's like a 2-hour panel I have to go to sometime within the year. But no, my assessment's done. I did my classes. I paid my fine.
I think once maybe the class is done, maybe come back and ask us. My thought, just a thought.
I was gonna ask Jeff if he's got an opinion on when would be appropriate for her to come back and ask for a review.
Yeah, initially, I don't know if I explained this last time, but she had applied earlier when it was still pending, right? And I advised, hey, why don't we wait until this is cleared up? You know, if you're found not guilty, then, you know, we've got no problem, right? And then she applied again, and it came back with a conviction, and that's why we are here today. I would say at least once you finish everything you need to finish, that would be an appropriate time to come back. Once you finish, you know, you paid your fines, you've got your valid driver's license back, you've done all your required assessments, I would think then it would be appropriate to bring it back.
Because I have all of that except for the panel. And I wouldn't have reapplied except for my boss was told by your office, because she called to ask when I could reapply. And they said that they talked to you and they talked to legal and for me to reapply.
Well, yeah, I can't tell someone
Right,
they
no,
can't
I
apply.
just, well,
And I just make a recommendation, so.
okay.
But in my opinion, that would be, you know, once everything is all wrapped up, I would be willing to, you know, bring it back again.
Can you explain what the panel is? What is actually remaining to be done? What does that mean?
It's something that's going to be at the River Falls Library.
It's a victim impact panel.
I guess the sheriff's talk and they go over a bunch of stuff, discussion.
I guess at this time, I'll move that we deny this applicant, and yeah, if she sees fit, come back after the things are done and reapply.
One second.
Motion is second. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion possible action on an annexation agreement between the City of Hudson and Creative Home Construction Investments LLC for parcel 020-1097-70-00.
I'll move we approve the annexation agreement.
Second.
The motion is second to approve annexation agreement. Discussion?
I have a question on a legal standpoint. Does anything in this agreement circumvent or preclude us from doing our due diligence, our process, public hearing before rezoning, anything?
No, they're required under the agreement to follow all the city-state requirements for rezoning, development plans, plating, everything. So all this does is approve an annexation into the city, and then if there's going to be development, it will go through the standard procedures.
And it comes in as agriculture residential?
Yes, by our ordinance it does. So it will, probably the first will be a rezoning application, which
Thank you.
will include a public hearing.
Thank you.
So my question on this is this, we have the moratorium on annexation, but is this because it was applied for previous to the
Yes.
vote on that?
We put it right in the ordinance, I believe, that it doesn't apply to annexations that are already in process. And this was in process
Okay.
for some time.
Good question. Anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are we on just the agreement right now?
Yeah.
or the-
Yeah.
Opposed? Is that you, Kathy, or?
Waiting for the ordinance.
Motion's approved. Discussion of possible action on ordinance 20-19 approving a petition for direct annexation by unanimous approval from the town of Hudson to the city of Hudson, annexing parcel 020-1097-70-0000, petition by Douglas N. and Linda K. Foster.
Move to suspend the rules.
Second?
Got a motion second to suspend the rules. Roll call.
Morissette.
Yes.
Alms.
Yes.
DeZiel.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Motion's approved. Rules are suspended.
Move to adopt ordinance 20-19, approving a petition for direct annexation by unanimous approval by the town of Hudson, the city of Hudson.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Roll call?
Morrison.
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes.
DeZiel.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Motion's approved. Discussion possible action on final development plans for Minnesota Distribution Center at 3010 Enlow Street, Minnesota Regional Transportation LLC.
Good evening again. Minnesota is applying for their final development plans, or is proceeding with the proposed development of a 40,000 square foot storage facility and distribution. It includes dry storage and refrigerated storage. Planning Commission recommends approval of the development plans, the final development plans with conditions. There's a few engineering items that need to be worked through yet, and some kind of thoughts on where the building will be situated on the site. There's some significant topography issues that they've had to deal with. It's a kind of an oblong shaped lot. If you look at the site plan, there's some setback considerations that had to be dealt with. The board, the St. Croix Business Park Board, also authorized a reduction in some of their setbacks to help accommodate this proposed development.
I'll move we approve it.
I would second.
Motion and second to approve. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Anybody for future agendas or anything? Was there, you were shaking your head, is there?
I was looking for the opportunity to have a discussion on the previous, but
On what?
on the previous,
Oh,
on
yeah,
B.
Enlow.
Yeah.
Did we not? Did not?
I don't recall.
I apologize. Well, why don't you, if you've got a comment, why don't you make it?
Is this
So just going back to the discussion on possible action on the.
I don't know if people caught that. Apparently, I made a mistake and did not call for discussion before the roll call.
And I don't know if I just didn't hear it or, okay. So I just wanted to make clear the motion that I made for the ordinance 20-19. The reason that I'm doing it is from strictly a pragmatic level. If you take a look at District 2 and you're traveling east from Hudson Hospital on Stage Line, you go city, then town, then city again. So this is adjacent to Heritage Greens, and so as we look at building or developing eastward, this makes perfect sense to fold into the city of Hudson, right, to keep contiguous as we grow. But the pragmatism for that motion is where it stops. I am not in favor whatsoever of this development if it does get access into Heritage Greens as it stands right now, and that is due to conversations that I've had with the homeowners association within Heritage Greens, neighbors. So I would just say that with that motion, before any rezoning application comes forward, I would argue that the developer has a lot of work to do before that happens. So that's just what I wanted to say during that.
I apologize. I didn't realize I had done that.
I didn't say anything because everybody seemed so on board. I'm like, oh, I think anybody want to talk about it, so, sorry.
And what we passed was just, to be clear, is this the annexing?
Yeah,
This is not about the approval of the
Correct.
plan as
Right.
drawn up, so there'll be plenty of time for public input, public hearing and
Exactly.
whatnot, so.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know, everybody have a chance to get down to the park? Are we lit up tonight?
Looks good.
Looks good, doesn't it? That was fun. We had a great candle, or light up the night with Santa, and then the park looks really good. Hope everybody has a chance to get down there over the next several weeks and check that out. I think it looks really nice. And also, we have the candlelight stroll downtown this Friday. Another opportunity to be downtown and enjoy the city during the holiday season. So that's all I've got. Anybody?
Quick question, do we need to put anything on the agenda, the documents we received for us to discuss?
No, good question. This.
It'll go on the agenda if it needs to.
Yeah, once it needs
Yeah,
to,
we'll
we'll,
review it.
we'll have it sent to the attorney that's handling it
I
already, that's been
think
assigned.
something needs to be said to everybody to clarify what this means, so.
Yes.
Mike?
I just want to keep you here for half an hour. No, I'm kidding. At each of your places, I left an envelope with some bookmarks and surveys, just to encourage all of you when you're out and about to hand those out. The plan will only be as good as the feedback we receive. Please help drive people to our website. We're going to be working really hard, obviously, in the coming weeks and months and overall the year to make sure that we get significant public engagement. So please do get those out and encourage your constituents to complete the surveys.
Mike, do you know if SEH has set the date for the second public meeting?
Not yet. Nope.
Okay. Okay.
Anybody else? Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. We stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
All you have to move.